Hey folks, Machinery Pete here. I'm at the Iowa Farming Power Show in Des Moines. Always great fun to come down to the show and visiting with the Acre Company here. And we have John Yelm, Chuck Sikora, and we have Austin Peterson. Guys, thanks for having me out. Always fun to come down. Now the Acre Company, you guys are located, is it Spencer, Iowa?
Spencer, Iowa.
Okay, and John, did you start the company back
1988.
88. Now, how long you been in the real estate biz?
Since 1981.
81. Okay. So, what was that like when you set out on your own then with the Acre Company?
Challenging, different times. Coming out of the 80s, everybody got a pretty good education in the 80s.
Yeah. That was an interesting, tough time for all of agriculture, no doubt. Now, you guys, I'm looking behind you here. These are all auctions you have coming up, February, March.
Yeah, and so far this year, we've booked 12 tracks on 9 sales.
12 tracks on 9 sales. Okay. Now, John, you were telling me a little bit ago, you guys maybe approach it slightly differently, rather than maybe put everything in one shot on a sale, or how do you approach that?
We've got a philosophy in the office that it's great to brag about how many acres you're selling and all that, but we think we would rather concentrate on doing a better job. So oftentimes we'll take several tracks owned by several owners, and we'll put them on separate days so we can have full attention and kind of get everything covered and not overlook something.
Okay, and that's a philosophy with the Acre Company. You guys have been rolling that way for a while now, or?
Yeah, you'd be tickled pink if a guy walked in the office and had 80 acres to sell.
Yep.
So why try to pile 4, 5, 6, 800 acres? We've had as many as 1,800 acres walk in. And so we just kind of schedule those so that we can do a better job. Sometimes you want to sell them all, but there's a lot of times you want to divide them up into different districts and sell them on different days, just so you don't overlook something.
Right. And Chuck, you've been working with John for how many years now?
19 years. My real estate license, 19 years.
Okay.
I've been in the auction business since '95.
Okay.
When I went to auction school at Mason City and
Okay.
did machinery and household. Worked 17 years at Spencer Livestock, so around
Right.
livestock and kind of the whole deal. And he stopped in one day and asked if I'd help him ring a sale down at Gravel Road, which we very seldom do anymore. We go to a community
Right.
center, and from there I went and got my real estate license. So it's been about 19 years.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, Chuck, what's your take on what John was describing about the different sizes of as land comes available, approaching it that way? Has that been successful?
Very successful to give it attention. And maybe another thing we do, I think a lot of times if we have a quarter section or a 240, we'll try and, if they'll divide nicely, we'll try and divide them into 80s. So the guy that can afford an 80, or the guy can afford a quarter or 240, they all have a chance to buy a piece. So we have what we call the choice method.
Sure.
You can take either 80 or both, the high bidder. So that way everybody's got a chance to buy a piece of ground. The guy that wants it all, he can buy it all. So,
Okay.
and it works very successfully for us.
Now, John, let's talk. Pick your brain a little bit here. Oh, and by the way, thank you for putting that poster, that ugly guy.
Pretty
behind
cool,
you there. Thank you for that.
Thanks for signing it.
Yeah, you bet. But let's talk about the recent market here, farmland. What have you guys been seeing? Let's say late second half of 19 into early 20.
It's been a very interesting time in the land market. We've sold a lot of stuff. We've sold farms we didn't even get time to put a sign on. And you hear a lot of gloom and doom, and there is some of that out there, no question about it. And everybody's been waiting for different trade things. But in the most part, our best buyers are ladies and gentlemen that already own land in the area for the most part. And the guys that have land would like to buy more. So the land market's been active. And even since December, we've probably seen a little strength in the market. There's been some very strong sales around Iowa and around of really good land, kind of pushed by quality.
Right. So what do you attribute that to? I mean, I get asked on the machinery side as used values have held steady or inched up when times are tough. On the land side, what's your explanation for those dollars hanging in there?
Well, a customer told me this in November. He said, the only people who don't think land is a good investment or don't think it go up don't own any. The people that own farmland trust it, they believe in it, and they'll keep investing in it.
One thing I've noticed over the years visiting with people around the country, and as the discussions turns to ag, farm ground, the number of times people will say, oh, if I only would have bought that one piece, but
Yeah,
go,
we
can't-
tell
can't
young
go
guys
back.
that all the time. Get your name on something. It doesn't have to be 150 acres. Buy a 20, buy a 40. You can always trade up. Get your name on something.
Chuck, what's your take on the local or the recent market here for land values?
What we've sold here since the first year, towards the end of the year, it's been strong, and what we're seeing, and a lot of local buyers and
They're
stuff.
not so
80
much the investors.
Just some it is. We're probably maybe a 50-50 right now.
Okay.
We're when there's down markets, then you'll see more investor type. When
Right.
you see a little bit of turnaround, or we've had some good yields, then you get the farmers stepping back in again.
Right. How about volume, John? Volume of land, farmland coming available. Is that steady? Would you say it's up? How would you
It
classify
changes all the time, and it's been. We had a little slack off period earlier last year, and I think some of that was. We had to build an ark last spring, and it was. We had a lot of rain, and a lot of people didn't want to test the market last summer.
Sure.
And then there was farms sold last summer that weren't planted. So it's been an interesting year last year, but the farther we get away from 19 and the weird spring we had 18 was bad, 19 was worse.
Right.
The farther we get away from those, we've had more volume, but you're not going to hold land off the market too long just because there's a number of estates to be settled. There's always people need to move or buy something somewhere else. So you're not going to hold stuff off the market, and we've caught up a little on volume this fall and this winter.
Now, guys, I understand you had a sale here just recently. Was it maybe last week we were talking about before? Was that around Spencer?
It was 2 weeks ago. It was in Terrell. It was a farm that was east of Milford.
Okay, a pretty good piece of ground.
Excellent. Wasn't a perfect, but it's a really good quarter in a good, strong neighborhood east of Milford.
Okay,
in
walk
Dickinson County.
us through how that sale went.
It took off. It took about 60 seconds to maybe 2 minutes, which, if you're doing the mic work, seems like an hour and a half.
Yep.
And then it started in. We had a good, strong starting bid, and then it took off, and it ricocheted right past where we thought it might end up. And the last 10 minutes of the sale, we did $500, $25 at a time. Neither guy would quit. And you see that, Chuck always says the first part of the sale is to find out what the farm's worth. The next part of the sale is to find out who wants to own it.
Right.
And we went $500, $25 at a time. Austin was on the phone with a guy from California doing a great job. Chuck had a guy in the room. Neither guy would quit. They brought 10, 4, 25.
10, 4, 25. And the feeling going in was maybe a little over 8,000-ish maybe? You
We
would
were
have had
starting
it.
for 8.
nine.
We were
Yeah.
thought either side of 9,
Right.
maybe 2 would be.
Okay.
Would have been a good, strong sale.
Right.
And we
And they'd
went
been
right past
happy
it.
at that.
Right.
And that was a case where we had 3, 4 bidders on the
Right.
farm, but it got down to the last 2. And they both wanted to own it. And that's what it came down to.
To talk about the philosophy again, when you break the ground up and offer it in different versus one shot, the mentality of the folks looking to buy it, a lot of times maybe they runner up or they got outbid on the first, and then if it comes around a month later, Chuck, they kind of get over that initial.
Yeah, there's always John saying at the end, don't call us tomorrow and
Right.
want to buy this farm because
Right.
the sale is now. But the second bidder, maybe he quit and thought he should have bought it. So that
Right.
goes back to the deal where the family's got another farm or the next one. They're prepared. They see the market is strong.
Right.
2 weeks later, they're coming prepared. Maybe it's going to take a little more
Right.
money.
We
No.
caution people, it took a lifetime to pay for Grandpa's farm. Let's not try to sell it and get it done within a week. If it takes a little time,
Right.
let's pay. We once had a guy walk in the office and he said, I'm going to sell my grandpa's farm, I'm going to sell it in a week. And I bet Grandpa spent a lifetime milking cows paying for that 80.
Right.
Let's show the farm the respect. Let's survey it if we need it. Let's check the tile out. Let's find out. Let's get our homework done.
Right.
And then let's give that farm its due justice.
And with the Acre Company, your guys' approach, that's been very successful for you over the years. That's kind of almost your calling card a little
I
bit.
think people appreciate that because we try to be real accurate on surveys. We try to be real accurate with surveying and telling the people what they're getting. We think if a guy's got a survey in front of him and some accurate information, he'll give us a couple more bids.
Right.
And that'll pay for the survey. And you sell them some ghost acres, that might be the last sale they ever show up at.
Right. Okay, now, people, for more information on the Acre Company, what is your guys' website, John?
TheAcreCo.com.
TheAcreCo.com. Okay, and you're selling land, is it throughout Iowa? Is it all?
We're licensed in Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, Nebraska, but most of our land is in northwest Iowa.
Okay.
But we've sold in Goose Lake.
East Iowa City. We've sold all
You get
over the
around.
state, yeah.
We get hired by a lot of farm managers and a lot of other people,
Sure.
realtors and stuff, to sell property. We show up, grab the sale, help set it up, and go home.
Right. And again, just looking behind here, looks like we've got some nice ground coming up next month through February here. And into March, lots of opportunity.
And we've got some private listings in Pocahontas. We've got private listings in Clay County. We've got a beautiful 80 by Rossi. We've got 143 by Royal. We've got a really nice 176 acres by Fostoria. We've got some really good farms that are
Lost
listed.
Island Lake at Ruthven, 160 acres coming up. So quite a bit spent around. So.
Good opportunity for some
Yes.
good ground.
Yep.
Interest rates, it's a good time to be looking.
Yeah, interest rates unbelievable. So again, you started in '81, John, in the business. Interest rates were not.
I was 3 years old when I got my real estate license.
Awesome. I was 4 when I started my business. So there you go. Okay, looking ahead now, we have so many moving parts, obviously, with all the stuff happening in our country and stuff. Hard to know what's coming around the corner. But farmland, what do you see for the rest of 2020? I'll ask you guys each individually. John,
We've
what's your
talked
outlook?
about it, but I would rather be headed into 2020 than I would 17, 18, or 19. You know, I'm not saying it's going to get perfect, but I think we've probably seen, as far as weather goes, we've seen some pretty tough years. I think we've got some overestimates by the government on what's actually out there. There's some empty grain bins that you can bang on them, and they're not. We don't think the grain's out there, and we think we're going to see better prices throughout the year, and we think interest rates are going to remain pretty good. So it's a good time to be looking.
Chuck, what are your thoughts? 2020.
Well, if we don't go through another year, we thought 18 we saw it all.
Yep.
19 came in worse. You go to coffee shops or elevators, wherever you see, and everybody didn't think it could get worse. But I think if we come into a spring, get the snow melted, get a dried up March, and we can get to the field on time, attitude is a lot of that, and get the crops planted, I think our land markets will stay strong. So that attitude is a lot.
Right.
And weather, there's so much related.
We can't control, but
No, stuff that we can't. So
but they don't make any more farm ground, do they?
that's right.
And how about guys talking about opportunity areas, and if we flip it and talk about it, you know, from the buying angle? Any thoughts there? 2020 moving beyond, seeing some opportunities to hop in. And
We've
get some
seen
good value?
cycles, you know, we got people coming out of Nebraska because of the high land taxes. So we've sold a fair amount of ground, Potawatomi. We've got one coming up in Monona County. We've sold a lot over there. We do get some Nebraska buyers across the border.
Yep.
You're going to see some Minnesota right now. You know, they had a pretty good dip in land values. Minnesota's coming back. South Dakota's already started coming back, and they haven't had a crop yet. Some of their prices have already started to rebound.
Okay.
So, you know, get your name on something. It's nice to predict and do all that, and we'd like to tell you exactly what the market's going to do, but if you can find a good piece of farm ground, buy it.
Okay, I got to shift over here to Austin here, a fellow Peterson, who spells it the right way, S-O-N away. But Austin, you started with the company when now?
About 6 months ago, I was licensed. I followed John around the summer prior, and couldn't be mentored by anybody better. I had a really good experience doing that, so here I am.
So what do you think about the business 6 months in?
It's very, very fun for me. I mean, it's exciting to go around, talk to farmers, and try and get them in a new farm. And
Grew up on a farm yourself?
yep, livestock farm by Hartley.
Hartley, gotcha. Well, yeah, you're working with some good folks here, Austin. We wish you success as you grow in the industry. And Chuck, any thoughts?
One thing maybe we hadn't touched on quick was trades. We do a lot of trades.
Okay.
And a guy will come to us and say, I just can't afford to buy that quarter. So I've worked with quite a few guys on trades where, why don't you take an 80 that you have maybe that's 10, 12 miles away, let's sell that, and I'll try and find you a buyer so you can rent it back, but sell an 80 to buy the quarter right next to your cattle lot or your grain setup. So we do a lot of that, working with guys, stuff that they don't think of.
Right.
I did 2 last fall for a guy, sold 2 80s to buy a quarter right next to his cattle yard and drying setup, and found him buyers so that he could stay on them both. So sometimes they don't think of those kind of things that maybe could help them expand, pick up more acres.
Right.
Is maybe sell one to buy a quarter. So those kind of things are we'll work with people to try and help them out and expand their operation.
So John, basically get in touch with the Acre company, you guys, and then whether you're looking for, buying or selling, you're there to help.
Check out our website. We've got a lot of experience, and we'd like to visit with you. And you know what? If you need a second eye on a piece of farm, you're thinking of buying something, we might not even have it listed. Maybe your bank would like an opinion on something. Give us a holler. We don't get paid for everything we do. We'd be glad to help you out, and just give us a call. We'll take a look at it, and we'll help you with whatever you need.
Now, last thing, guys, just got to ask you here, what is it about the business? You've been in it all these years. What is it about the business that you enjoy the most?
The next one.
Next. There you go. It's always the next. How about you, Chuck?
I think the people we work with,
Yeah.
and a lot of them are people that I've met over the years, whether it be in the machinery, livestock, people that I work with, and the new people. It's like we meet here at the show today. It's the people. Enjoy working with them. So.
And again, that website one more time, John?
TheAcreCo.com.
TheAcreCo.com. Check it out, folks. John, Chuck, Austin, thank you for having me out, and
Thank
we'll
you.
See you down the trail.
Thank you.
Your next piece of equipment is on MachineryPete.com. Search equipment from dealerships across the country to find what you're looking for. Only on MachineryPete.com.